So today I want to talk about some changes that I've been making um, to some automation, well, basically some automation changes. And in the first stage of doing that, I've looked at the crop plots and how I can improve how that interaction works. One of the downsides to the currently before this, the previous way it used to do it was that you'd have to use something like the farmer or say the item aggregator to basically pull in anything that produced fertilizer bags. So things like the dung beetle, for instance, the farmer would then pull them in, and then either the farmer or the aggregator would then distribute the fertilizer to all the crop plots around it. Now the problem there is that it's a little bit, it's not very efficient. So I looked at ways I could improve that, and I think what I've got, I'm happy with, and I think it's a lot more more efficient than what it used to be. Now I've also made a couple of other small changes which you're probably not aware of. So the first one is that the way it works now is that the crop plots themselves will now ask when they think basically they know when they need fertilizer. So they actually ask who has the fertilizer, and then it'll pull in, if it can pull in what it needs, it will then do so. Now, one of the other changes I made is that when you are putting seeds into a crop plot, if the gardener is activated at that time, and if you don't time it correctly, the gardener would pull that seed back out again, which became a bit of a problem. So what the farmer does now is that it will not pull any seeds out until it's at the last stage, which is the fruiting stage. So that gives you time to get your crop plots going. Now, the other change that I made was that, now this is it's just a small quality of life, but the way you would have to do this in the past, prior to this change, was that you would put a seed in there and you'd either carry some fertilizer bags with you and you put a fertilizer bag in just to get you going, or you'd use the cloud pull to pull a fertilizer bag in. Well, now you don't need to do that anymore. All you need to do now is put a seed in there, and the crop plot itself will put in an initial 3 bags, and that should be more than sufficient just to get you going. Now, I could have pulled in less bags, but then that would trigger the next part of the improvement. And that is, if I come over here, and I'm going to simulate this one because it's going to take a long time. Now, as I said, the crop plots themselves will actually ask who has fertilizer. And what that means is that if it gets down to 2 bags remaining, and it only triggers once a change has been occurred. So basically it says, do I have 2 bags? No. Then I won't do anything. But if I do have only 2 bags left, it'll go off and ask the same question: who has the fertilizer, and can I have some to fill myself up with? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trigger that by pulling one out. And as you can see, it's automatically gone off, found that something has, a structure that it sees as a producer of fertilizer actually has enough bags to fill it back up again. So when you think about how long it takes for these bags to get used up over time, that's quite a lot of work that the server's no longer doing. Anyway, I just wanted to quickly do that with the crop plots because, as I said, this is stage 1, and I am looking at a lot more over the next few months. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that.